Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Kislinsky, the founder of Go Global World, and this is the second video we are making with Ken Ma. The first one we had about crowdfunding, what it is, how to make it successful. And now we are doing a video about prospecting hacks to sell successfully. And this topic is kind of an interesting one because every startup is looking for traction and they need to sell, they need to make their users love their product. Actually, their users should fall in love. They should make them, they should fall in love with their solution they're providing. And what I have something in mind is to ask Ken some questions, how he does it, because he has natural charisma of selling. He successfully closed many deals and he has several exits as an angel investor. Most importantly, he has over 10 years expertise in startup investing. Also, he's a managing director of Volux Capital with 3 exits and the founder of Options and Traders Network and a venture fellow at Newchip Accelerator. He also on the board of advisor Whimstay, which is running a successful crowdfunding campaign that is closing to $1 million. As he recently explained how they did it in a previous video, so go and watch it. And you may also watch his intro of his experience in the first video. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, and of course, put some comments below. We'll try to respond the best ones. All right, Ken, good to have you again here. Give us a few words about yourself and let's get to the topic right away.
Yeah, just I was always in the hustler, scrappy mindset, decade plus of startups, and then decade plus of investing. And yeah, just love doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and impressive work with the crowdfunding. Now let's learn about how you are selling. And this first step of selling is prospecting. People don't really understand, many people don't really understand how to do it properly. What is the prospecting in a startup?
Yeah. So there's 2 ways of prospecting. You can prospect clients or you can prospect investors. I'll start with the investors part because it's a little bit simpler. So the investors part, you understand, are these people angels, VCs, or micro funds? And based on that, if they're an angel, well, you just look at what do they typically invest in. You can look at their portfolio if they put it on angels list. You can ask them about the portfolio. Sometimes they have a personal website. And then the same thing happens for the VCs and venture and micro funds. You basically go to their website, look at the thesis, understand what do they invest in, look at their portfolio. And so based on that, they also tell you what stage they invest in, whether they're pre-seed, they're seed, or Series A. As far as prospecting your customers, that part can get a little tricky. Depending on your industry, depending on your sector, you really just have to understand not just, oh, we have a better product, we want to sell this product to you, but how can we as a company help you as a business owner or as a maybe another entrepreneur, maybe someone, how do we build these tools around what you need? And so from that perspective, it's all about your customers, understanding what they need. And then you have to prospect in a way where, okay, this is what they need. I'm going to reach out to them because I believe that we can really help them. And if you can get them to see the vision that you can actually help them, then the odds are they're going to be a really good client for you, right? You don't just want to sell someone something that's more efficient or something that you think is more efficient when they may not care, right? So it's like going to a person saying, hey, I'm going to build you a $5,000 website. It's going to be better than your website. And well, maybe they don't care about their website because they're using Shopify to sell products, right? So then that's not going to help them. So you have to think about, like, from their perspective, how do you help them where maybe if your new platform drives them more traffic, they can make way more money than they do on Shopify. Then that's something that helps them. They'd be more willing to pay money for that. And so, based on that, you have to really just do research on your customers.
And how to select the best prospecting resources and which one of what are they? What are those resources?
Yeah. So I think the best resource that I have as far as finding potential customers, there's a website called apollo.io. And so Apollo is like a really good sales lead generator database. They have tons and tons of information on who is the executive at this company, who is the person at this company based on LinkedIn, based on database, based on submissions of several people. And so any company you want to work with, you can find them on Apollo. And it's pretty cheap. I think it's at $9 a month. And then if you want to get the more, enterprise, heavy duty, I'm going to talk to all the top Fortune 500 companies. There's on Zoom, but on Zoom is it's quite expensive. I think it used to be 15,000 a month, and now it's like 25,000 US dollars a month. And they keep jacking up the price because it's been getting more popular. As far as investors, I mean, you got to go through databases. You got to do Google searches. A really good tool is Founders Suite, and I think with Founders Suite you can find a large database of investors based on industry, based on hey, I'm a founder. I talked to this person, and they invest this and this and this, and so it has other founders' inputs on what do these investors invest in and who are these investors.
What about LinkedIn? Do you recommend to use this as a sales prospecting tool?
Yeah, so LinkedIn and Sales Navigator and whatnot, it's really good to figure out, okay, I want to hire someone, and it's really good to find out potentially who is a connection that I get in connection with. But there's a fine line between the way some people use LinkedIn to prospect. Because typically with LinkedIn, you want to build that initial relationship, because you have to think about the heart and core of LinkedIn is a business platform for social media, right? You have to build the relationship and trust before you deep dive and blow up someone with a bunch of questions and whatnot. And so what I've seen the wrong way of using LinkedIn is people add you, and then you accept the request. The first thing they say is, hey, blah 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 blah, and it's like 4 different paragraphs of this is my product, this you need to buy this, and it's like, okay, I don't know who you are, I'm not going to read all 4 or 5 paragraphs, and then the last sentence is like invest. I'm like, I'm not going to invest because I don't know who you are, and I'm not going to read 4 or 5 paragraphs. But if you would have approached me and said, hey Ken, thanks for connecting with me, I'd like to have meet you sometime, I'd like to have a conversation about what we do, maybe ask for some feedback, something a little bit more general, something I could actually read in 10 seconds, then I'll be more interested or more open to talking with that individual instead of immediately getting 5 or 6 paragraphs, because that to me just looks like spam. And the people who typically they add me and that's the first thing they do, I typically don't reply.
Yeah, and this was my problem as well when I was in the beginning of my sales career. I was writing large emails, and I saw oh, my conversion rate is so low. Like, why? I'm really working on this. Like, what's going on? And when I turned into just making 1 or 2 lines, and I've got response rates increase drastically. We absolutely agree with that. In your perspective, how to build a sales funnel and divide it into specific steps? What would you recommend?
Yeah. So sales funnel, the less clicks, the better, right? So you have to think about from the user experience side. If you put 1 click goes to navigation, to another navigation, to go to reading the features, to reading all the products, the odds are someone's not going to convert, right? So less clicks is better. The first page of the sales funnel just very clearly identify this is what we're doing and this is how it benefits you, right? The second click is this is additional information, maybe they're testimonials, people really like the product, and then the third one is we're verifying that this is something that you really like, and you click here and buy, right? So really make it a 3-step process. I think that typically from what I've seen, or at least from the e-commerce side, has a much harder or much higher conversion rate. And then also people don't get annoyed by clicking through several things before they can actually buy. I've seen a lot of traditionally spam sales funnels where people have to click through several things and then they get a bunch of pop-ups, and then you can clearly see that the business is making more money from ads than they actually are from selling the product. Customers along their journey through your sales funnel, they don't like that. They just want to say, hey, I see this video, I'm really excited about this, I really like this product, I'm seeing testimonials, people are excited about it. So if people are excited about it, I'm excited about it. They get this pent up emotion, and then they got that impulse where okay, I need to buy this now. So you click that button and they say, yeah, are you sure you want to buy this? And so you kind of stretched out the thought process, I'm excited, they're excited, do I want to buy this? Yes. Click that, and then boom, transaction happens. So that's how I typically like doing the sales funnel. But really prior to that, it's prospecting with SEO, finding the right blog post. You could say, instead of writing a blog post like 5 ways of how to do this, it's how I went from rags to riches, right? You have a more captivating title or that directly speaks to the user, and you write articles, you write LinkedIn posts, you write anything that grabs someone's attention, and then you put your link that directs them to your sales funnel. And then based on that, it's, if they like you, they believe in you as a person, and they like how you solve this problem, then they get excited, and people will pay if you can solve their problem.
And I totally support that, because I was prospecting for top management of huge corporation, NBC Universal actually, and I know how to find them on LinkedIn, but they are unlikely to respond. And so like I found the guy I want to speak with, and so I researched him like all over the internet. I found he has a personal blog. He likes a specific book. I read that book. So I spent really like lots of time, and I sent them like a simple message that I'm impressed with the book and I really support this idea of this book. And he responded to me, and we made a connection. And then we spoke about the business afterwards, after like a few iterations. It really works. I totally support it. How to qualify the right leads and how to reject the wrong ones?
Yeah. Qualifying leads is a little, so it depends on your timeline, right? So if you want to close on your sales process, maybe you have a deadline, then you need to figure out based on, the cost or the units that you sell for your product, you have to understand, okay, do these people have the right budget? Are they just going to string me along and say, hey, it's almost like finding the investor, right? It's like, hey, are you going to string me along and say, hey, come back in 6 months? Or are they going to say, look, we have this budget. This is our budget. This is how many units we want in general. And so if they fit that, and based on your unit, you can sell, and you make an order for $50,000 and they have $60,000, then you can figure out, okay, $50,000 is in their budget. You want to prioritize those people before the people that say, oh, I like the demo. I don't really know, right? So what you have is you have two different sales teams. You have the outbound sales, which they go out on the prospect, and then you have the inbound sales. So the people who don't really know, you put them into your inbound sales funnel, and somebody internally, they have these leads of people who are already interested that will reach back out to them in the future. But the outbound sales guy, when you go out and you reach out to them and like, oh, I don't have the budget, then immediately you take that as a maybe, put them into the inbound, and then you go to the next prospect and you find the guy that says, okay, yes, $50,000 is within our budget. We actually have $100,000. And so based on that, you want that outbound sales guy to say, look, you have $100,000, each unit's $50,000. We could do 2 units here. And the reason why I would recommend 2 is because this first one solves your problem. But then if something goes wrong and you don't have a backup, how are you going to replace this? Right. And so they'll talk about, oh, okay, it'll take like 4 days for a technician to come out to replace this unit. Right. And if they do that, then the next step is you ask the business, if you are down for 4 days, how much money do you lose? Or how much money do you make in 4 days? Right. And so if they make, let's say I was doing oil, and oil, if your pipeline is down for 4 days, you're losing a couple, tens of millions of dollars because you don't have oil flowing. And so for a $50,000 unit, that upsell, that makes them generate a couple $1 million every couple of hours, they'll pay that $50,000 for the upsell to have another unit so that their systems don't go down, so that they can repair the other one while one's running. Right. So you have to think about, like, from your perspective, how does it help them as a customer?
We have a few minutes left, and so I have a few questions to ask, and so give us some outline of what you think of these specific things. I think it would be very helpful for the founders. What a salesperson should and shouldn't do when prospecting?
You always have to be respectful, even if they they're going to be a no, even if the customer they're not the friendliest customer, because at the end of the day they still pay. But you as the salesperson, you have the right to refuse business to them. If they are literally, you don't want to work with them, then don't work with them, because they're gonna be more of a pain 6 months down the road when they have complaints, and those complaints and problems and like you know, if they're real stickler about everything, you're going to waste more time trying to satisfy one customer when you can spend that time closing on, 4 or 5 other customers. And so that's something you don't want to do. And that's something that you want to do.
So you're looking not only the opportunity of the lead, but you also look at the sales cycle and versus like long versus the short ones. And so you probably might consider closing short sales cycle leads versus one large sales cycle with a big check. And it will give you more opportunity to have a sustainable, like sustainably running business, right? Totally agree with that. How do you build trust? Why relationship first?
Yeah, your relationship always first. The reason you do that is because if they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. So that first meeting, it's typically introducing, maybe demoing the product, maybe I know with traditional sales, you either go play golf with them or you take them out to eat, and you really talk about, this is what we're working on. This is, if you have a problem with with your product in the future, you need support, you need service, you call me, and I'm going to get you the lead to the right guy or the right team to make sure that your needs are fulfilled. That's literally, that is the trust. And so based on that, most people that purchase from salespeople, once that salesperson leaves, if they had a really good relationship with that person, once they leave, they're typically, they might not buy from that company again because they want to buy from that salesperson and not the company.
Yeah, and this phrase, like you should take them to wine and dine, I think it's not enough considering existing speed of how the company building and growing. It's more about trust, not just informal relationship. It's just really be helpful for your customers, and this you really need to deserve this trust and build this relationship. What is your final advice on prospecting successfully? We are closing this session. I'm really impressed with all the stories you're sharing. These 2 videos we built. What is your final advice on prospecting for founders that are working on their sales funnels globally and trying to make this through and build their traction?
Yeah. So the final touch is know your customer, ask a couple first to understand what are they looking for. And then based on their pain points or what they're looking for, then you build out your articles, you build out your SEO, you build out everything to solve that pain point. And then you just funnel that into your sales funnel, which says, hey, these pain points are solved because we do this, this, and this is why it's so awesome. And then based on that, it's okay, who have used this and whose pain have you solved? Get those people who are excited about how you solve their pain and then put that in the next funnel. And then after that, it's like, yes, are you excited? And then close it. That's it. It's really, it's not a complicated process. It's a matter of, how do you do it and do it over time and then get good at doing it. And so it's something that I always have in my LinkedIn. It's all skills can be learned, but you have to have the passion to do it, right? Because anyone, like, you can teach anyone how to do sales, but not everyone's going to be a good salesperson, because even though they know the flow, they're not going to be able to execute on how do we build trust? How do we do this? How do we get them to the next stage? How do we get them to close and say yes?
That was Ken Ma, and we spoke about prospecting and how to close successfully. Well, thank you so much for a great talk. Guys, please give us a like, press the like button and leave us comments, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see Ken Ma on our channel again, and just give a shout out in the comments below, and we will reach out and invite Ken again, because this kind of expertise not going from the books, it's just practical expertise with his successes and failures. Ken, thank you so much. We look forward to speak to you soon, and good luck with your class that you're having in a few minutes. Take care, man, and have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.